Hello and welcome to the second episode of One Take Commentary. Today we have a double feature brought to us by Lothior at the VX9 gaming community. Today, for the first replay, he is in his Roomba Waffentrager, and we will see what happens. I probably butchered that name, but I don't speak German, so it's still probably not okay. What you need to know about the Roomba, it is one of 3 researchable Tier 8 German tank destroyers. This one trades out all concepts of armor that the other 2 have in favor of just raw firepower. Lothior here is choosing to use the smaller, if you can believe it, of the 2 guns for this tank. This one featuring slightly lower damage but a higher rate of fire and greater accuracy. The other one is the 150, I believe, millimeter cannon found on the E100. The fact that you can use that at Tier 8 is just plain wrong. But since it's from the E100, it has a low rate of fire, kind of poor accuracy, and not all that great penetration. But when you can hit Tier 6s with it, it really does not matter. Lothior is here on Prokhorovka, going over to the western side of the map. Let me make that mini-map a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. I haven't seen this replay, as is the name of the show, One Take Commentary, so I'm seeing it for the first time with you. Looks like there's a Type 61 scouting in the middle, a bunch of tanks balling up around or in the E row. That's pretty typical of this map, happens most of the time. VK 2801 trying to get some early lights. See an SP1C over near the hill. And there's our first target, Panther 88. Not Panther, Panther 88. 8.8, whatever. Did he just bounce a shot? He bounced a shot off, and that's unfortunate to say the least. An IS-3 taking a poke in the city. And still not a whole lot to be seen by Lothior here. He's looking at that IS-3 again. He has a shot. It doesn't hit him. It may have hit a building, may have missed, who knows. Needless to say, it didn't go through, and they lose their allied KV-13 to a Type 64. Wow. That happened? Maybe he got softened up by somebody else. Lothior's trying to keep his eye on this IS-3 and see what he's going to do. Looks like Evil McNasty here isn't having a good time. Not entirely sure what happened to him. Where is he? Don't know. Somewhere on the other flank trying to get that hill. Just looking at that IS-3 again. Still no shot. Kind of a slow game. There is the Type 64. He is on the flank. Lothier's looking to get a shot. Snaps it into him for just shy of 500 damage, and he's finished by the premium Tiger 88. That is the Tier 8 German tank destroyer. And you can see it has significant armor. It's basically a Tier 9 Tiger down tier to Tier 8 with a different gun. Still a solid frame. Lothier's looking to get shots at the guys in the middle, doesn't really have anything. And now we go back to waiting. This is the inherent danger of not reviewing replays before getting them. You don't know when the dead spots will be, or when I can really talk about stuff. But more on the Roomba since we have a moment. Or maybe we don't. There's a Panther. Lothior sights in. Hammers him for 480 damage. This tank, as you can see, does not look heavily armored, and it is not. Pretty much any tank in the game can pin it easily. High explosive shots will absolutely devastate this tank if he gets hit. In exchange for that lack of armor, he has a very low profile, and since camo rating is somewhat tied to the height of a vehicle, that's unfortunate. Roomba has excellent camo values. As you can see, Lothior here is running a camo net and binoculars. It doesn't have camo paint, which would push it further. And he finishes off that Black Prince, easy pickings for that gun. I would imagine his crew is skilled in camo. That's almost a given with this tank and the playstyle that it has, and really a lot of that line. But Lothior is unconventionally taking the front of the group. Now he has 2 rather heavily armored, at least compared to him, tank destroyers now pushing up. It looks like they needed Lothior to lead the charge to inspire them to greatness, so you could say. Meanwhile, Lothior is very carefully pushing forward. Which he needs to, because his team has all but given up the eastern side of the map. The hill, and by extension, a lot of map control has been given to the enemy team. They have to take this flank or they will be enveloped and quite possibly lose. Lothior looks like he's tempted to take shots at the guys in the middle, but he doesn't know what's ahead of him either, so stopping to take aim could be risky, especially if anybody is looking. But given that they haven't been shot, and there's a VK3002D. That is Tier 7 medium. 3002 is an interesting vehicle. It used to be known as 3002DB. It was a Tier 6. And had quite a few ways you could play it depending on how you equip the tank. If you went for the top turret... Now, I'm going off of old and for vague memories at this point. But it occurs to me that depending on what turret you got, or what weapon you chose, you either had more armor and a little bit more firepower, or you were much more mobile with a higher rate of fire. It gave for some dynamic options. Lothior here is looking again for shots into the M445. But Wargaming edited the line that tank was in, rebalanced it a little bit, split into two different tanks now, and unfortunately removed some gameplay choices from the game in doing that. But it's their prerogative. Back to the match at hand. Lothier's using this line of bushes here to great effect. And if you don't know, when you're behind a bush and cannot see through it, firing will not lower your camo rating provided by the bush. So Lothior can shoot at these guys with impunity. Now if he was close enough to the bush where the bush would be somewhat transparent and fired, he would lose the camo bonus the bush is giving him for a few seconds. But sitting behind the bush like this, he can abuse it all day long and never get seen. And this Tiger's just sitting there completely helpless. So's the AMX-45. Tiger goes down. AMX M445 goes down to Lothior. Good shooting on him. Now he pushes up to the bush, see if he can see something. Also, when you can't see through the bush, you're completely reliant on allies spotting enemies, because he cannot see through it either. But when you're close enough that the bush is transparent, you can see through it. Unfortunately, that other one isn't. So again, he's reliant on his allies here. So what to do when you have only a single bush and you're the only one spotting? Pull forward to where it's transparent so you can see through it. If you spot an enemy, pull back to the bush is no longer transparent. Fire, wait a second, then pull back up to reacquire targets when needed. But don't fire when you can see through the bush, unless you're willing to give up the camo that it's giving you. Lothier's sitting here. There's quite a few unspotted targets in the field in front of him. There's a Type 61 and an Oni. What is he going to do? It's like he hesitated there, maybe he was thinking about typing or something. Snaps a shot at the Oni and takes him out. Poor guy really didn't have a chance in a tank that big, going that slow on a ridgeline. And another one of Lothier's teammates has fallen, and his team claims another kill. At this point, Lothier's team is in a pretty good position. A lot of the enemies are trapped in these valleys, at least going off the last known position markers. Another shot into the Yak Panther 88. That regular Panther 88. That one penetrates and goes through. That guy's taking an awful beating. This is an expensive shell for 6 damage. He is definitely not getting his money's worth out of that one. So he's taking a few more hits. Scouts effortlessly pinning what little armor he has. It's a blind shot, but his Comet ally had already killed the 3002. Lothior is reloading. He only has 2 AP shells left, and then he'll be down into his APCR rounds. Let's see if he'll get a shot into that Type 61, or if that guy's going to play it safe and stay low. It looks like he's not too keen on getting hit. Meanwhile, there's a Tiger 2 on the other end of the map who's pretty much trapped below that, or behind that rail line. If he tried to crest it, the T-25/2 would put round after round in his undercarriage. Type 61's trying to make a break for it. Lothior snaps a shot into him, and an ally hits him as well, reducing that medium tank's health. Oh, and he takes another hit, reducing it even further. Now he's a one-shot kill for most of the tanks in the game. Lothier's just waiting for a shot. He smells the blood in the field. Yes. Meanwhile, we haven't seen the Panther 88 or the... Oh, that is the Tier 9. We haven't seen a couple of their tanks in a while. This Type 61 is basically stranded out here. He's just trying to spot for his allies at this point. Struggling to stay alive. There's honestly not much he can do, except be a thorn in Lothier's team's side. Lothier's still waiting in the bush. And there's the WZ-120 on the northern end of the map outside of the render range, so we cannot see it, but we can see what's going on the minimap. Looks like he's going for the northernmost pass to see if he can crest it and get shots on the T-25/2, keeping them pinned down. WZ-120 is broken through and is pushing towards their cap circle. Lothior recognizes this and is heading back to back him up, perhaps expecting a larger push to come through. WZ-120 crossed onto the cap circle and then moved out. He is likely pushing that helpless T-25/2, who is only on 180 hit points and is an easy kill. WZ is moving in largely unopposed, taking fire from the sides. Kills the T-25/2. Lothior has a T-54E1 and a Comet backing him up. He's waiting for the shot, takes it, hits him for 488 damage. That WZ is on very low health, but he's somewhat safe in the bushes there in the back of the map. Although the Comet is pushing in to see him. It's possible that Tiger 2 is crested. Yes, the Tiger 2 has crested the map and has crested the ridgeline and is in the middle of the map. Lothior takes a shot, bounces it. That's unfortunate. And the Comet finishes him off, but his shot has revealed him to the WZ-120, who puts a shot into him. Lothior is reloading, and he finishes him off before he can take another damaging hit. Well, that just about wraps up this game by the looks of it. Lothier's sitting there on 5 kills. There's a Type 61 in the field. Lothier's looks like he's going to try to push in there and get him. Meanwhile, his team is rushing on in and bid to hurry up and finish this game since it's just mopping up duty now. The SU-122-44 secures the kill. It's a Tier 7 premium killing a Tier 9 medium. Now it's just an effort to find the Ag Panther wherever he went. Lothior is down to his APCR rounds. Any shot he takes now will be very expensive for him. And the Ag Panther drowned himself. Very dishonorable. In other news, Lothior picked up high caliber what looks to be tank sniper and his ace tanker badge. What's it take to get that ace tanker in Rheinmetall Borsig? Over 6,000 damage, a lot of experience, 5 kills, and playing to the strengths of his vehicle. However, thanks to the good accuracy and penetration of the vehicle, he was able to avoid using premium shells, which means even if he was running a standard count, he still would have made a profit. Moving on to our next battle. And we're back with the second replay of the night. This one again featuring Lothior and this time his M41 90mm GF, the Grand Final Edition. I honestly don't know a whole lot about this tank. I didn't look at it too closely since I didn't participate in the tournament, or really pay much attention to it anyway. But he has the unfortunate luck of being a scout tank on Winter Himmelsdorf. Not as bad as being an artillery on this map, but it is definitely not easy. Lothior also has to contend with his clanmate Zulu 6 on the other team. Who will win the VX9 scout tank grudge match? Let's find out. Lothior's going over here to the western side of the map to see if he can get any long-range spotting and or shots down the railroad, or at least that would be my assumption. There's usually some quick tanks. Oh, and that is a Tier 9 tank destroyer who's thankfully on the move. That would have really messed up Lothior's game if that shell had connected. That would have taken off a massive swath of his health. Just looking to see if he can get any more shots, but there's another one down there. Who didn't shoot at him? I guess he's tied up with another target. There's gains stink, another shot in, gets it for 272 damage. Not bad. This tank's AP rounds do 240 damage on average with 182 pin. Oh, he loses his tracks. A shot from the hill, perhaps? Bat chat. That's, yep, bat chat on the hill. That's the Tier 9 version. Still going to be a bit of a problem. M41 Bulldog up there. Okay. That 182 penetration is not bad at all. Lothior there taking some debris out of the way, perhaps. He's trying to get shots on this Panther. 182 pin. He won't be going through the front of heavy tanks and some tank destroyers, but it's more than enough to guarantee penetration through the sides and rears of tanks. Now he's got opportunity shots on the hill. This T-54 is not really paying attention. And it hits the building. That's unfortunate. He's looking for another shot into that lower plate, but that upper plate is very big and bouncy. It's unlikely that he'd pin. And Zulu 6 is down. Lothior didn't even get a chance to fight with him. That's almost unfortunate. So I guess Lothior by default won the competition between VX9 members there. He gets a side shot into the T10. He's looking here for another one into the T26E4. Hits the Super Pershing. Nice and easy shot. Buddy's spotted. Will he get shot from the hill? Unlikely. Panther's behind him. This is not the safest of positions for a light tank to be in, but he's making full use of it, trying to sneak a shot through the train. He may only be able to see the tracks through the bottom. It's unlikely. There's a 1390 making a run across the middle. Lothior puts one into him. Did it take a track off? It possibly did. It's another shot in. Only 230 damage off. And the 1390 might be going for it. Lothior sneaks a shot in through the building there. 1390's gun appears to be blocked by the building. That is unfortunate for him. Lothior takes another shot, and the T-34-3 up on the hill finishes him off. Lothier's quickly running out of friends around this area, though. There's a lot of very... Oh, and that's a big hit into his ammo rack from the Waffentrager. Lothior repairs that, but almost half of his health is gone in that one hit. AMX 1390, another one cutting across the middle. Just shot in the rear from the Panther. That 1390's coming for him, and he gets erased by a friendly Waffentrager. That's a good turn of events. That auto-loading light tank would have been bad news for him. Snaps a shot into the Panther, reduces his health a little bit more. Goes for another shot. It connects. Lothier's attempting to side scrape here. With as little armor as he has, it's quite possible that most shells hitting him would overmatch through him anyway, but it's worth a shot. Lothier's one of few tanks on this road to present any opposition to the enemy team. If they tried to push, well, they can't now with those guys coming up through the side. But for a while, this flank was not very heavily defended, and the enemy team easily could have acted upon that. But now they're getting encircled by the friendly team, and they're just mopping up at this point. Lothior sneaks a shot into the artillery there. He's done a good job of holding down this position and putting in harassing fire, keeping the enemy from pushing any more than they did. He could sneak a shot into that Waffentrager. He's going for it. Who was waiting for him? Oh, now he's down to 69 health. But there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team. One's the artillery, who is quite happy to wait for somebody to come around the corner and get blown up. Or maybe he's not. Lothior finishes him off with a good shot. 1 tank left. That's a good game to the green team. Looking at the post-game stats, Lothior picked up First Class Mastery Badge as well as Confederate for spreading his damage around to multiple enemy tanks, and he pulled off top damage on his team despite being a scout tank on Winter's Himmelsdorf, stuck behind a single building the majority of the map. Who says you have to move around to be effective? If you enjoyed today's video, like, subscribe, give me a comment, and I'll see you next time.